Madison are now considering a bill to restrict how audio recording devices are used in buildings like Green Bay City Hall.
This as the city faces ongoing litigation and scrutiny from members of the Common Council who say they were not told about the devices prior to them being installed on the first and second floor hallways. In a First Alert update, Jason Zimmerman was at a news conference today and breaks down some of the changes this legislation is seeking.
While audio recording devices have been disabled at Green Bay City Hall pending the outcome of litigation, some lawmakers, including Representative David Steffen, remain concerned.
It is my hope with the legislation I am introducing today, along with Senator Eric Wimberger, that we will finally be able to address this matter and ensure that not another single community in the state of Wisconsin will ever go down this path again.
The bill proposed by Steffen would force a two-thirds vote of the governing body to authorize installation of audio surveillance and renew that vote each year. During that process, information about the cost and location of those devices would need to be transparent. Signs would also have to be posted. As well, audio would have to be stored for 240 days instead of the 120 days required by law right now.
Unlike in the city of Green Bay, where this was done without the knowledge, both from a budgetary as well as a disclosure perspective for Common Council or the citizens, under this law that could no longer happen. There'll be full disclosure on the financing, the installation, and the authorization.
In a statement, Mayor Eric Genrich responded by saying, "This is yet another example of MAGA Republicans weaponizing government and politicizing public security for their own partisan purposes. We'll continue to ignore political gamemanship and instead focus on the safety needs of the community and our employees as we work with the Common Council to upgrade security systems and protocols within city facilities," end quote.